my mouth and the meditation of our hearts be acceptable in your sight. O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. Well, today is All Saints Sunday. The feast day of All Saints is actually November 1st, but because it is such an important day in the calendar of the church, we move it to the following Sunday. It's a day of remembering all the saints, all the faithful whose lives teach us what it means to be followers of Christ. It's also a day when we baptize new Christians. We'll be baptizing a little baby and a 4-year-old today at our 10 o'clock service. And it's a day when we renew our baptismal vows so that we are reminded of what it means to be a baptized Christian living in the world today. As I was preparing to preach this Sunday, I was surprised at the gospel lesson for All Saints. All Saints is a joyful celebration, but our gospel is not very joyful. It's Luke's version of the Beatitudes, which is one of the most popular and well-known teachings of Jesus. However, the popular version of the Beatitudes is Matthew's version. Luke's version is really different. Matthew's gospel says, "Blessed are the poor in spirit." Luke's gospel says, "Blessed are you who are poor." Luke makes it personal. Blessed are you. Matthew gives us some distance by saying, "Blessed are those who are poor or weak," or whatever. Matthew makes it more spiritual. Blessed are the poor in spirit. But Luke makes it very concrete. Blessed are you who are poor. Luke also goes on beyond the blessing to tell us all about the woes. Woe to you who are rich, for you have received your consolation. The woes are very personal too, and very concrete. It's no wonder so many love Matthew's Beatitudes, and Luke's Beatitudes aren't so often heard or preached about. Luke's version of the Beatitudes are bound to make anyone uncomfortable. No matter if you count yourself among the blessed poor, whose treasures come in the next life, or among the rich who have received their consolation. It's a difficult and challenging teaching. And I believe it is exactly what we need to be struggling with if we take our relationship with God seriously. I have been praying and meditating on the discomfort of the gospel in the past few weeks. And I've gained a new understanding about that discomfort. You know, as human beings, it is in our nature to make ourselves more comfortable. If we're in an uncomfortable position when we sleep, we change positions. If we have a headache, we take an Advil or Tylenol or whatever our drug of choice is. It's in our nature to make ourselves more comfortable. For so long, I have tried to reconcile my feelings of discomfort when I read certain biblical texts. And I have tried in my preaching to reconcile it for us as a community as well. And there are certainly times for that. Times when we encounter a text that out in the world gets used for things that are less than holy. A text that gets used for hate or to minimize people or to exclude people. Those texts need to be dealt with and reconciled. But this kind of discomfort that is inspired by today's gospel is exactly where we should be. And I suspect it's the discomfort that Jesus intended in his teaching. The discomfort we feel, maybe feeling unsettled, maybe a little bit defensive, maybe feeling like we need to justify ourselves, attempting to reconcile the reality of our lives with the life that Jesus is calling us to. This is the place where the rubber hits the road for us as Christians. It's the place where we can begin to grow. It's really our starting point. The discomfort of the gospel is the beginning of our growing pains. And it is a true blessing if we can stay with it. Stay with the discomfort, pray with it, and allow God to use it to change our perspectives, to transform our lives. The discomfort of the gospel is really an invitation. In today's gospel, after the blessings and the woes, Jesus gives us a way to live that may not bridge the gap between the blessed and the woeful, but a way that certainly teaches us what the Christian life is about. Jesus says, I say to you, listen, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who abuse you. If anyone strikes you on the cheek, offer the other also. And from anyone who takes away your coat, do not withhold even your shirt. Give to everyone who begs from you. And if anyone takes away your goods, do not ask for them again. Do to others as you would have them do to you. That's Jesus. Those are Jesus' words. They're not mine. They're Jesus's. And it's a difficult teaching. It's also Jesus' invitation to us to show us a way through the polarization of these blessings and woes and into a place where we can continually grow and change and experience the grace and love of God in very real ways. I am reminded of a scene from the musical Les Miserables. The protagonist, Jean Valjean, has been released from prison, and he's bitter. He can't get a job because of his prison record. He's homeless and hungry, and he seeks sanctuary in the church. The priest gives him a meal, a clean bed to sleep in, and so much kindness. Valjean takes note of the fine silver in the church and in the priest's living quarters. And then in the middle of the night, he fills his bag and runs out the door. He's caught by the police and brought back to the priest to return what he has stolen. The priest takes no time to even consider, but tells the police to release him and tells Jean Valjean that, look, you left behind the vest, and gives him like 2 candlesticks, I believe. This moment is a key moment in Jean Valjean's life. He is stunned by the kindness and generosity of the priest, who he has really done wrong to. So he returns to the priest and asks him why he would show such kindness. And the priest responds, and these are the lyrics from the musical. Remember this, my brother. See in this some higher plan. You must use this precious silver to become an honest man. By the witness of the martyrs, that would be all the saints. By the witness of the martyrs, by the passion and the blood, God has raised you out of darkness. I have bought your soul for God. This priest made a choice to love his enemies, to do good to those who harm him, to pray for those who abuse him. And in so doing, he gave his enemy an opportunity for redemption. Now, the priest is certainly not among those whom Luke calls blessed in his Beatitudes. But the priest does say yes to Christ's invitation and chose the way of poverty in order to be the grace of God for another human being. On this All Saints Sunday, it is my prayer that we may say yes to Christ's invitation to us, to stay with that discomfort of the gospel, to love our enemies, to do good to those who hate us, to pray for those who abuse us. It is the way of the cross, the way of Jesus. And it is by no means an easy way, but it is the way of life. This is the truth that the saints of God knew and lived into, and it is the truth that we are invited to live into as well.